everybody, I'm Janet Fletcher. I'm a food writer in California, and I'm the publisher of a blog called Planet Cheese. If you don't already receive it in your inbox, I hope you'll subscribe on my website, janetfletcher.com. I'm also a volunteer with a grassroots organization called Victory Cheese, which is modeled on the Victory Gardens of World War II. Victory Cheese is about trying to get Americans to support specialty cheese, buy more specialty artisan cheese in these difficult times when cheesemakers are really struggling. Their restaurant sales are down, their food service sales are down, and you and I are buying, when we do shop, we're buying different kinds of cheese these days than we used to. So a lot of our finest cheesemakers are backed up, and we need to keep this cheese moving through the pipeline. So several cheese professionals and cheese enthusiasts like me have come together to create this organization called Victory Cheese. And one thing that we're doing is creating Victory Cheese boxes to try to inspire you to buy more cheese. I have created 12 different Victory Cheese box collections, and they are all for sale through igourmet.com, the online cheese merchant. You bought one. You bought the Farmstead and Fabulous cheese collection, and it came to you in this little muslin bag. And I thought it would be a good idea to go through the 3 cheeses that you bought so that you had a better idea of them, of their backstory, before you tasted. So let's get started. We have 3 Farmstead cheeses here. Farmstead means that the animals are on the same farm where the cheese is made. The cheesemaker owns the animals, the sheep, the goats, the cows. So it's very similar to an estate-grown wine, where you're making wine with grapes that you grow yourself. You have maximum control when you have your own animals. So for many cheesemakers, they would consider that highly desirable to have their own animals with the milk growing straight from the milking parlor into the vat. These are all fairly strong cheeses. They're all aged cheeses with big aromas, big flavors. So we don't have anything really fresh and delicate to start with. But let's start with this sheep cheese from Minnesota. This is Shepherd's Way Farm is the name of the producer, and this is their Friesago, F-R-I-E-S-A-G-O, Friesago. So you can tell from the name. They are kind of riffing on Asiago, the Italian cow's milk cheese. This is roughly a sheep's milk version of Asiago. I love sheep's milk cheeses in general, and I love supporting them because in this country we don't have very many of them. This is one of our very few sheep dairies. It's pretty well established. They've been around 25 years in southern Minnesota. Family run. Jody Olson-Reed is the cheesemaker. Her husband looks after the sheep, and their kids help out. And look at this gorgeous cheese. It has a natural rind, which means that this rind is created by the microorganisms that are in the aging room. They just settle on the outside, and I like seeing how wholesome it is. It's just in really good condition. It's very thin. I don't see a lot of darkening under the rind. That means she's really in control of her aging room temperatures. Beautiful ivory paste, kind of bone colored to ivory. And let's just smell it. I like to cut it and take a deep breath. I always get a lovely nuttiness from this cheese and just a faint caramel note. It's not, if you've had some sheep cheeses that you think are kind of smell like wet wool or like a piece of mutton, that is not this. This has none of that aroma. It's very sweet smelling and nutty, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's aged about 3 to 4 months. She's an excellent cheesemaker. Next, we're going to go to a very stinky little cheese here from Virginia, from a creamery called Meadow Creek Dairy, and this is Grayson. So again, it's Farmstead. They have their own Jersey cows, and this has been made for maybe 20 years, 25 years. Grayson is the cheese that they started with at Meadow Creek Farm. It's inspired by an Irish cheese called Duras, a washed-rind cow's milk cheese. So Meadow Creek's, again, a family-run farm, the Feet family. Helen Feet is the cheesemaker, was initially, and Helen got inspired by this Irish cheese and went to Europe 2 or 3 times to learn more techniques, and came home and has really perfected it. It's made in a square, like a taleggio, so it may remind you of an Italian taleggio. Look how that gorgeous color. They make this cheese only when the cows are on pasture, which is, I mean, their cows are only outdoors. They are never pinned up, but they are only on grass during the grass season, which in this high elevation Smoky Mountains area of Virginia is roughly from like March to November, and then the cows are allowed to go dry and have a rest. So you get this beautiful butter color from the milk and a very sticky rind, a very sticky salmon colored rind, and this is from bacteria that settle on the outside because this cheese is washed repeatedly with brine. So it's very moist, salty, sticky outside that attracts the bacteria. You're going to want to eat that rind. It's very delicious. I wouldn't cut it away. And you're going to get, the smells of this cheese are like so beefy. Look how beautiful and supple it is. This is probably about well, it's raw milk, so it has to be at least 2 months old. It's probably 2 to 3 months old. Gorgeous texture. I gave a piece to my husband and he said, oh, it smells like peanut butter. So it really is very nutty smelling. I get a lot of beefy, yeasty aromas as well. This is a great cheese for a piece of rye bread, dark pumpernickel bread, and it really is a terrific beer cheese. I would have it with, you know, a Pilsner or even something pretty yeasty like a Belgian style beer. Our third cheese is, I think, not that well known for how extremely delicious and affordable it is. It's from New York, from a creamery called Five Spoke Creamery. And this is Tumbleweed. This is their flagship cheese. And it's quite unusual. It's cow's milk and Farmstead. They have their own cows. And look at it. It's made in a, the shape is unusual. It's made in a kind of a block form. And it has a natural rind with a white bloom on it. But it's really kind of a cheddar. The cheesemaker would say, an owner would say, it's a cross between a cheddar and a Comtal, which is a French cow's milk cheese. So raw milk, Farmstead, cheddar-like, but not entirely with this kind of rind. Gorgeous uniform color, and it is. It's going to have the kind of nutty aroma of a cheddar, creamy texture. That cheddar tang, but it's not too salty. It's got a really vivid tang, but it's creamy and nutty. Really unusual cheese, and I admire that it's for a raw milk Farmstead cheese. It's always one of the best values out there. That's Tumbleweed from Five Spoke Creamery. So 3 different Farmstead cheeses you have here, and they came from iGourmet in your Victory Cheese box, and I hope you will go back to iGourmet and check out the 11 other Victory Cheese collections that I curated for them. They're all different themes, all different cheeses. Every time you purchase one, iGourmet donates $10 to World Central Kitchen, and you help support America's cheesemakers. Thank you.